Hi everyone, my name is David and this is the Cartoon Fortress YouTube channel. If you are new to this channel and you like talking film and film collecting, that type of thing, then I invite you to hit the subscribe button. As far as today's video, we're going to focus on another sale haul. Now recently I featured a video on my sale haul from the Scream Factory Shocktober sale. I'm continuing that theme here, except today we're going to be looking at titles from Kino Lorber. They had a Shocktober sale as well, and I was able to come away with some really fantastic titles. So I'll go ahead and jump into that now. I've got a lot of titles to go through today. I've got some box sets and some individual titles as well. So I figured we'll go ahead and start with the individual titles and then make our way over to the box sets. So I'm just going to do a quick little blurb on each of these. This is going to be nothing in depth, but I wanted to showcase some of the titles that Kino has available. They have a very large library of titles, and Kino's kind of known for their sales and kind of the amount of sales that they have, and there's kind of an ongoing while supplies last sale, and they feature titles anywhere from I think about $5 up, and as they get rights and then have rights expiring, they need to get rid of stock on those items, and so a lot of times you can capitalize on the licenses running out and stock running out by picking up titles for really competitive prices. Like I said, anywhere from $5 up, and I've been really impressed by the range that they show and titles I've been able to add to my collection. Kino's one of those labels that is a highlight in my collection. I love the range of genres that are available, and just a really fantastic label. So I highly recommend looking into them if you haven't already. I know a lot of collectors in the community, Kino's kind of a mainstay and something that we visit on a regular basis, and that certainly is the case for me. Alright, so let's go ahead and move into the individual titles here. First up, we have a film directed by Douglas Sirk, and this has the wonderful Barbara Stanwyck. I'm a big fan, Fred McMurray, and Joan Bennett. So really stellar cast here. And this is There's Always Tomorrow. And this comes in at a runtime of 84 minutes and is from 1955 in black and white. We get an audio commentary and a theatrical trailer on this edition. So not supplement heavy, and that's going to be the case with more Kino titles than not. They're not one that, comparatively speaking to other labels, they're not ones that have a lot of supplements, but still, you get some good. I mean, here we have the audio commentary, which is great, and the theatrical trailer, which is, I don't really have a comment on the theatrical trailers. It's pretty basic, but the audio commentaries are great. So we get that here with There's Always Tomorrow. Next up, we have a film. This was actually just released through Kino, and really excited about this. I'm a big Richard Farnsworth fan. In fact, if you can see, if I can get over the right shoulder here, Anne of Green Gables, that was a series that I watched a lot growing up. That was a series we really liked watching as a family, and Kevin Sullivan and Sullivan Entertainment, they produced Anne of Green Gables, and then Avonlea, a lot of great family entertainment, and Richard Farnsworth was a big part of that Anne of Green Gables series and delivered such a wonderful performance. And of course, I love him and his performance in the adaptation of Stephen King's Misery, another great character performance. And so I've wanted to explore more of his work, and I saw this title come up with Kino and just immediately knew that I wanted it because I wanted to see another performance from Richard Farnsworth. And this is a film by Philip Borsos, and this is The Gray Fox. Now, this is from 1982. This comes in at a runtime of 92 minutes, and we do get a couple of extra features here. We get an audio commentary by filmmaker Alex Cox, so that's interesting. And of course, Alex Cox is the director of Repo Man. That's kind of his big film. And then we have an interview with producer Peter O'Brien, interview with composer Michael Conway Baker about the restoration featurette, and then a theatrical re-release trailer. All right, and then I also want to mention, in fact, going back to this other title, these are mostly going to be Region A titles, and that is the case with the first two here. These are Region A. But really looking forward to The Gray Fox with Richard Farnsworth. Up next, I currently own the classic Disney film of this title, but this one we have to go a lot further back than the Disney film. In fact, this is a title from 1916. 1916. So we're talking 104 years old at this point. This is the Universal production of Jules Verne's 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, and that features a new 4K restoration by Universal Pictures. So this is one that I was really excited about. Again, Disney produced a film, and I want to say that one was from the 1950s, if I remember right. Excuse me. But this is one that I just had to add to my collection. I think it's really neat, the restoration work that's being done on films as old as this. Over 100 years old, and we're getting beautiful restoration work on these titles, or some films from this era, and really excited to see how this looks. Now, let's see if we can find a runtime on this one. And that doesn't look to be... here we go. 1916, and this is in black and white and comes in at a runtime of 86 minutes. And the special features included here are audio commentary by film historian Anthony Slide and a musical score by Orlando Perez Rosso. All right, so again, nothing heavy on the supplements, but I'm really excited to look at the restoration on this and see what they were able to do, what Universal was able to accomplish here. So 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. Sorry, I hit the mic there. All right, up next, this is directed by Brian Trenchard Smith, and this features Henry Thomas, of course, from E.T. He played Elliot, and he's also in 1993's Fire in the Sky. And if that's a title that you haven't seen, I know essentially everybody's seen E.T. Fire in the Sky might be one that's evaded people more than some other films, and that's one that should definitely be watched. He gives a great kind of more subdued performance in that film, but it's one from the 90s that is pretty terrifying, and the backstory on that film is really interesting if you want to read further on that. But we are focusing on this Henry Thomas title, and this is The Quest. This is from 1986, so this is 4 years removed from his performance in E.T., and this has a runtime of 93 minutes and is Region A. This one has an audio commentary with director Brian Trenchard Smith, editor Brian Cavanaugh, costume designer Aphrodite Kondos, and Not Quite Hollywood's Mark Hartley. We also have The Depths of a Legend, a look back with star Henry Thomas and director Brian Trenchard Smith. The Go Kids, looking back on the quest with co-stars Rachel Friend and Tamsin West. The Dream Quest, shooting locations revisited, U.S. opening title, and Australian theatrical trailer. So a few more extras on this one, and excited to check this out. And I like the cover art on this. Really cool, kind of painted looking cover there with Henry Thomas. All right, up next we have another classic title that we need to go a long ways back for. This is from 1920, and this is F.W. Murnau's The Cabinet of Dr. Caligari. All right, and yeah, this has a runtime of 77 minutes. And in terms of bonus features, we get a booklet included in this one with an essay by Kristen Thompson, Caligari, How Horror Came to the Cinema, which is a 52-minute documentary, so that'll be a really interesting watch. And we have an additional music score by Paul D. Miller, aka DJ Spooky, an image gallery, and a restoration demonstration. I always like featurettes like that show process of the restoration, so I'll definitely look forward to watching that. And yeah, some really cool cover art on this, and it's been known that Tim Burton took a lot of inspiration from Dr. Caligari and kind of the visual design of the film, so that's something to be conscious of while you're watching this film, is what visual cues Burton might have drawn from this particular production. So, The Cabinet of Dr. Caligari. Next up, we have a classic here with Lon Chaney, and this is The Phantom of the Opera. Now, we have a few things going on here. So we have a 1925 and a 1929 version, it looks like, and 3 cuts of the film between those 2 years. So runtimes on those are 78 minutes, 92 minutes, and 114 minutes. And this is, of course, in black and white, and is directed by Rupert Julian. And this one does feature a few special features. In fact, this is a 2-disc set. So on disc 1, we get music composed and performed by Alloy Orchestra, a theater organ score arranged and performed by Gaylord Carter, a musical setting composed by Gabriel Thibodeau, audio commentary by film historian John C. Misralis. I'm sorry if I don't pronounce some of these names correctly. And then on disc 2, we get an alternate. Okay, so disc 1, so that looks to be the 1929 version of the film. Disc 2, we have an alternate 1925 release version featuring a musical setting arranged and performed by Frederick Hodges, lengthy excerpts of the 1930 sound reissue version, and that's in mono. We have the original screenplay, original theatrical trailer, and an interview with composer Gabriel Thibodeau. Two travel films capturing Paris in 1925, Paris from a Motor, and a trip on the Seine. So really interesting extra features here. I'm interested with the original screenplay, if that's a Blu-ray, like a ROM version of that, or if that's something that can be explored just straight off of the menu on your Blu-ray player. So I'll be interested to see that, but some really engaging extra features included here. And yeah, so this is The Phantom of the Opera, the digitally restored 2-disc collection, and that's part of the Kino Classics line. Most of these are going to be the Kino Studio Classics, but yeah, that's from the Kino Classics line. All right, up next, and I've said this in I said this in a recent video, in fact with the Scream Factory video, that I've really been into 1950s sci-fi and monster films, kind of that vein of work, and I saw this title and knew that I had to add this to that collection. and this is Invisible Invaders. I love the titles from these films. They're so much fun to watch. In fact, from that Scream Factory pickup, I watched Earth versus the Spider with my kids. And of course, the pacing on these is going to be slower than things that kids are used to watching these days, but I really try and expose my kids to as many of the classics as I can, and they seem to have a pretty good time with it. Definitely some more than others that I show them, but we seem to have a fun time with that one. And this might be one that I share with them as well. We'll have to see, but this comes to us from 1959. This has a runtime of 67 minutes, and we get an audio commentary by film historian Tom Weaver and Dr. Robert J. Kiss, as well as a trailer gallery. Now, sometimes on these Kino discs, a trailer gallery doesn't necessarily mean just the trailer or trailers for this film in particular. It could mean that there's trailers for other films that Kino offers as well. So that's kind of fun sometimes, and has actually led me to purchase other titles where I see trailers on these discs for other titles that they have available in their catalog. So that's something to be aware of as well, and I'll look forward to seeing what trailers are featured on there. So, Invisible Invaders, Earth given 24 hours to surrender. Love the artwork on the cover on this one. Very representative of films from that era. All right, and then next up, this actually goes right along with Invisible Invaders. This is from 1958, has a runtime of 67 minutes, and this is Curse of the Faceless Man. You can see that even the art direction on this one follows very closely to Invisible Invaders. And so this is 1958, I believe. Yeah, so Invisible Invaders was 59, so this is the year before. And here we get an audio commentary by horror cinema historian Chris Alexander, as well as a trailer gallery. Again, that will most likely feature trailers from other films outside of Curse of the Faceless Man. And again, really cool artwork on that one. Okay, we are down to our last two individual titles. This is, now we're moving out of the 50s into the 60s with this one, and this is actually a British film, and a contribution that they made to kind of this same type of genre. 1964 with a runtime of 62 minutes, and this is The Earth Dies Screaming. This features an audio commentary by film historian Richard Harlan Smith, an animated image montage. That'll be interesting. I'm not sure that I've seen an extra feature like that before, and then also the trailer gallery, which we've explained. Yeah, so I had never heard of this one until I was browsing through the Kino site, and looks like a good time, and one that definitely goes with the last two titles we've looked at here. All right, now we're definitely changing gears here, and we're going back to the 80s. I've heard some good things. In fact, I've heard mixed things, but more so good about this title, and watched the trailer. This definitely looks like one that I would enjoy. I'm a huge fan of 80s films. It's the era that I was born in, and just such a fun time for movies, and definitely a wide range of movies. But this is from 1984, so actually from my birth year, and this is a runtime of 90 minutes. This is Raw Courage. And the special features included here are a new on-camera interview with writer-producer-star Ronnie Cox, and actually has a brand new 2019 2K master, as well as a theatrical trailer. And I was excited to see that M. Emmett Walsh is in this film. In fact, you can see him on the back here. I love his performance in Blood Simple, actually from the same year, from 84. Such a creepy performance from him in that film, and so I'm looking forward to seeing what he brings to the screen on this one. In fact, they make mention of Blood Simple on the little blurb on the back here. But yeah, this seemed like an interesting title, and definitely looking forward to watching this and having this added to my 80s film collection. Okay, so now we are transitioning from single titles over to box sets, and boy does Kino have some good box set offerings. So the first one, in fact the first two here, are going to be Western themed. The first is the Audi Murphy collection, and this has 3 titles, as you can see. No booklet included in this particular box set, but it has 3 titles. We have The Duel at Silver Creek, Ride a Crooked Trail, and No Name on the Bullet. I know it feels like I say this a lot. I'm a huge fan of this or this or this, but I'm a huge fan of Westerns. I love classic black and white, especially Westerns. Color as well, but I'm kind of a sucker for a good black and white film. And these come to us from the 1950s. So Duel at Silver Creek is from 52, Ride a Crooked Trail is from 1958, and No Name on the Bullet from 1959. Audi Murphy is an actor that I've been interested in exploring. His work seems really interesting to me, and in fact, it was Heath over at Serial at Midnight, I believe, that brought up the Audi Murphy collection, and that kind of struck up some interest, and this looks like a box set that I'm going to have a lot of fun exploring. So the Audi Murphy collection, and I'm not sure on these if they have any extra features or not. This is still packaged up, but it's great to see a 3 film collection here, and I'm sure there's going to be some extra features included as well. So the Audi Murphy collection, and then as I stated, continuing with the theme of Westerns, this is the Western Classics 1 box set. So hopefully we have a continuing series here where we have some other box sets released. Another 3 film collection here, and this features When the Daltons Rode, The Virginian, and Whispering Smith. And it looks like there's 1 black and white film here, and that's When the Daltons Rode. And then we have The Virginian from 1946. Sorry, When the Daltons Rode was 1940. The Virginian is 1946, and Whispering Smith is 1948. So it's interesting, at least via the images on the back here, it looks like we have 1 black and white film and then 2 color films. So that's interesting, and to see color films from that era. In fact, I was having this conversation recently. I don't know if these were all originally shot in black and white, but we were having a conversation recently, me and some other collectors, talking about how we feel about black and white films being reproduced or remastered and brought into color, or color versions being made available. And I am not a fan of that aesthetic. I like for a film to remain in kind of its original state. So if it's filmed in black and white and brought to color, there's always something that just really looks off to me. But yeah, so it'll be interesting to see what the case is here with these films, but very excited to add some more Westerns to my collection. Sorry to go off on that little tangent, but all right, so we have 4 more box sets here, and these are all from one continuing collection. And sorry, just going to rearrange these a little bit here. These are all from one continuing collection, and the first one, it almost looked as if it had gone out of print, and I was not happy, because this is a series that I wanted to collect, at least on Amazon and some other sites. Just stock on this kind of dropped off, and then I saw that it was available still on the Kino site, so I jumped right on it and got all 4 box sets that are currently released. And especially being in November, Noirvember, this is a great time to feature these titles. Here we have Film Noir, The Dark Side of Cinema. Now the first box set is the biggest of the bunch. This has 5 films, including Witness to Murder from 1954 with a runtime of 83 minutes. He Ran All the Way from 1951, that comes in at 77 minutes. Storm Fear from 1956, black and white, 88 minutes. Sorry, these are all going to be black and white. A Bullet for Joey from 1955, a runtime of 85 minutes. And finally, Big House USA from 1955 with a runtime of 83 minutes. So really cool. I love the spine here. I love the bold type or font that they use on the side. And there's a look on the interior again, so no booklet included, at least there. There might be in some of the sets, I'm not sure, or some of the Blu-ray cases, but Film Noir, The Dark Side of Cinema. So that is volume 1. Next up, if I can count, this is Film Noir, The Dark Side of Cinema 2. And this features 3 films, so we're slimmed down a bit from the first volume to the second, and in fact the rest, 2, 3, and 4 are 3 film collections. So here we have Thunder on the Hill, The Price of Fear, and The Female Animal. And sorry, like the first set, or unlike the first set, we don't have any details on runtimes on the individual films, so I'll just tell you what's included here. But yeah, we get those 3 films, and it looks like Thunder on the Hills from 1951, The Price of Fear is from 1956, and The Female Animal is from 1958. All right. Second to last here, we have Film Noir, The Dark Side of Cinema 3, featuring 3 films. And first up, we have Abandoned from 1949, The Lady Gambles from 1949, and Sleeping City from 1950, or The Sleeping City from 1950. And I really love the artwork on these covers, very noir-esque, and again, just that bold font on the side. So really great looking sets, and 3 great looking films in that one. And finally, we have arrived to the final set of this haul, and this is Film Noir, The Dark Side of Cinema 4. And these 3 films, which include Calcutta from 1946, An Act of Murder from 1948, and finally, 6 Bridges to Cross from 1955. All right, so that wraps up the current offerings from the Film Noir, The Dark Side of Cinema collection from Kino. I do hope that we see more of those coming soon. Another label, Indicator, which I cover a lot on this channel, they have some Columbia Noir box sets coming. In fact, the first set sees release this month, and they have just recently announced the second Columbia Noir number 2 coming in February. So I look forward to covering those sets on this channel. As you know, Indicator is a label that I absolutely love, and so I'll look forward to doing that. But in terms of the Kino Shocktober sale, that wraps up my haul. I'd like to know what you think about the titles I picked up. Are there any favorites that you saw listed in here, or are there any that you're interested in watching? Definitely let me know. And yes, if you found this video helpful or entertaining in any way, definitely consider hitting that subscribe button, the like button, and also the bell icon. That will notify you when I upload new videos in the future. And again, so grateful to have you here on the channel with me today. And until next time, I am your host, David, signing off with the Cartoon Fortress channel, and I hope you have an awesome day.